All right, welcome back to another Regis Ramblings. I've been gone for a little while. I really haven't filmed much over the summer. I actually kind of decided to take a bit of a break from any videos. I've actually kind of taken a step back on music in general too, and just kind of enjoyed the summer a little bit more. So first off, I had a really great summer. I spent a lot more time on my health, especially more walking, more flexibility stuff, kind of light yoga in a way. As I had said in my previous videos, I had issues with my back, so really trying to keep that up with my flexibility. And it's interesting, now that I'm getting towards my late 40s, I spend a lot more time with flexibility than I do in strength training, which I still try to maintain some strength training, but like back when I was in my mid 20s especially, I was really big into bodybuilding, but it's not quite as important anymore. But still, health is a big priority of mine. So, and then also spending time with family. Luckily, the whole family, my wife's family and I, we actually got to go on an Alaskan cruise, which was actually really fun. So went up as far up as Skagway and back, and it was the first time all of us had gone on a cruise, and it was really enjoyable. And we've already booked another cruise in Europe for next year. For the end of next spring. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then also another thing I started doing is actually been starting to play with Legos again. Building Legos as an adult. Really enjoyable. It actually all started with my wife. Well, we have a couple of tuxedo cats, and Lego came out with a tuxedo cat Lego assembly, and she ordered that, and then I didn't help at all. She assembled the whole thing on her own, and I watched the progression as she was building it, and it kind of got me kind of spurred, because when I was a kid, I loved the Legos. For me, it was Hot Wheels, G.I. Joe, Star Wars figures, and Lego. And a Lego was probably the biggest one for me, because there was a lot of creativity involved, because I used to like building my own stuff, especially little cars. I used to build cars. But anyway, so it kind of got me in. I got a few sets that I started building mostly Star Wars. I really love Star Wars. I've really gotten back into Star Wars in the last little while. So apart from just the Lego, I've been watching, I'd gotten Disney Prime Plus or whatever, Disney Plus, and started watching some of the shows. And one series that I'm actually really enjoying is The Mandalorian. And I really, when I saw that Lego had a Star Wars kit for the Mandalorian ship, and it's not cheap either. It's like 6,500 pieces. I said, you know what? I'm going to get that one. So I've actually gotten that one, and I've started building it now. And I'm planning on taking my time with it. But I'll say the most enjoyable thing about doing Legos now as an adult is it's a huge stress reliever. Especially if I have a bad day at work or a stressful day or whatnot, it's nice to just work on following the diagrams, finding the pieces, and then just assembling. Even I do one bag at a time kind of thing. It takes about an hour per bag, and I've already done, even in this kit right now, I'm going to be starting bag number 6, and I believe there's like 40 bags. So, but yeah, it's starting to come along, and it's really enjoyable. I'll put on some like music from my youth at the same time, like whether it's like an album like David Lee Roth's Skyscraper or Def Leppard Hysteria or something. Or Motley Crue Shout at the Devil. I'll put like nostalgic albums for myself on in the background while I am assembling this. And it's a lot of enjoyment. So anybody that really doesn't know how to deal with their stress, try Legos. I actually found it really enjoyable for me. So anyway. Walk! Respect! So now that the summer is kind of over, kind of been taking a step back from music, I'm actually getting back into guitar playing again. So a little recap of the summer is that my cover band, Driven to 11, we had actually a couple of gigs booked, but for, reasons, and whatnot, they both fell through. So unfortunately, we still haven't played a gig. And in this time, in the last while, our bass player actually left the group as well, and he's moved back to Newfoundland. Okay. Hi, Steve. And, which is fine. Life happens and whatnot. So we've actually gone through a little process in the last while of auditioning bass players. And it actually came down to a couple of guys. And we chose one guy that we thought would be the better fit and whatnot. So we've got a new guy. We'll make an announcement soon about that. But anyway, so with the cover band, we haven't played a lot. Like even especially the beginning of the summer, we didn't rehearse as much, and then now we've had to sort of do these auditions for bass players and whatnot. We've had 4 of them, so now we're starting to get back into the groove of things. And even with me, I'm getting back into my chops, practicing. Like over the summer, for me, practicing, it was more of just maintenance really and than anything. And now I'm getting back into spending a couple of solid hours working on certain licks that give me trouble in certain songs or techniques and whatnot. So that's sort of what I've been kind of working on is trying to get back my chops and improve, because I'm always looking to improve and get better in my playing. And then, of course, also jamming with the boys, trying to get that kind of going again. We've actually had a chance to jam down here, which has been great. Especially we're starting to work on some of the Pantera stuff as well. We don't have a singer yet, but I do have someone certain in mind. They're going to come down once we're kind of ready with some of the music and stuff. We're kind of taking some time to learn the material on our own, and then we're going to come together and start jamming the stuff. So hopefully in the next while, the Pantera tribute will kind of come along. And then with the boys as well, I write music for them, and like we're going to get together at some point and maybe do some of the original songs that I have. But it's just not a priority right now, which is, I don't want to say it's a downer, but the way the music industry is right now, it's kind of hard to be motivated for original music. And I don't want to be negative in a way, but it's just that there's no money in it at all. It's even worse than it's ever been. But you don't do it for the money anyway. You do it for the love of music. But in the last little bit, it's been more of nostalgia for me, more of playing songs I grew up with, which has been great for especially the cover band or the Pantera tribute stuff that we're learning. So that's been the kind of the thing, is just getting back to my younger days, I guess, in a way, which is interesting because music in the last while, it's harder for me to find newer artists. I always tend to cling more to the old stuff that I enjoy. Which reminds me, I was going to put a video up of some of my most influential albums, and I think that'll probably be the next one I still got to get done soon. So anyway, so also recently I posted new guitar collection little snippet video. I'm not going to do a full YouTube video, just it would take too much time. It's funny because I keep saying to myself, I'm going to reduce my guitar collection and get rid of a few, but I seem to get more in that time for some reason. So recently I gotten this guy here. Now, Ibanez, to me, I used to love Ibanez in my youth. And I'd seen this guitar, back, this was like a 2008, I think, or 2008 model. And I remember when these came out, and I just thought there was such a wild kind of shape on them, these Exifos. And then I came across this one day in Long McQuaid, and I just couldn't resist. I picked it up for $600 Canadian with the case. And it's actually almost mint. Like there's no scratches, no dings, no nothing. Just a little bit of wear on the chrome around the pickups and on the bridge, which is kind of normal. And I actually brought it to rehearsal one time with the cover band as well. The deactivator pickups, I'm not a fan of, and I'm probably going to take those out and put something else in that's got a little bit of maybe a little bit more of a warmer tone. That, or because I was thinking of using this either in the Pantera tribute as a backup guitar, because it's kind of got the shape a bit, kind of like the X pattern, or use it in the cover band because it's a bit flashy. I know the color kind of changes a bit with the lighting. You don't see it as much on this camera, but it goes a little bit between more like a green to a red. It sticks more to red though. But I might use it in the cover band as well. So I don't know. We'll see. But I know some people might look at that video and go, or that photo, especially it's on my Facebook, the banner or whatever at the top, with all the guitars. I've got 13, and people are probably going, "Why do you need so many guitars?" I started collecting, and then just over the years, there's certain guitars that I enjoy more than others, and then of course people are going to wonder, well, what are your go-to guitars, or what are the guitars I use the most? Now, those that saw, I had gotten this one not that long ago, and that's my LTD M1000. Now, this guitar, I ordered it. I waited like 9-10 months to get it. It finally showed up. This has been sort of my main guitar for the last while, practicing, whether by myself or with the cover band. Standard E. This has been kind of like my standard E guitar anytime I learn anything in standard E. And my first time using these Fishman Fluence modern pickups, and I really enjoy them. They're very versatile, and for active pickups, I really enjoy it. So this has been sort of the most main guitar of them all. And then there's been this guitar, which has also become one of my favorites. And I actually had Seymour Duncan's in this. I've gone and put the Fishman Fluence pickups in this, and I really love this. I've considered using this as a backup to the LTD, but this I actually keep in E-flat tuning, and then some of the original stuff that I've written or been doing with the boys, once I start jamming that with the guys, this is probably more the guitar I would use, especially with the Floyd. I'm always big on the Floyd, but it's actually more drop C sharp stuff. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but this has been more of anytime I want to learn anything in E-flat, half step down tuning, this has been sort of the guitar I've been going to. So this is another of my favorites, and I just love the feel, and it just has a great sound to it. No matter what pickups I've been putting to this, other than the stock pickups, of course, it's just sounded good. So this has been another one of my main guitars. And of course, my other favorite main guitar has been this guy, of course. And that's my Jackson Randy Rhoads RR1 USA. Now, this guitar has a lot of value. This doesn't really leave the house much. I've brought it out to the jam with the cover band, but I actually keep this usually in lower tunings just because it's got a really great sound with the Seymour Duncan Blackout pickups in it, that it's really good for lower tuning. So this guitar I've actually been keeping in C-sharp tuning, especially to learn some of the older Pantera stuff in their lower tunings. This has been sort of my go-to guitar for all of that. So, and of course, I kind of customized it with some of the red hardware on it. So this is another one, sort of my most played guitars when I go to lower tunings. So, and then other than that, some of the stuff, let's see. This is a guitar that I had a lot of hopes for. I'm still trying to give it a chance. And that's my EVH Special Wolfgang Stealth. I like the specs on this guitar for the most part, but it's got a really different sound than any of the other guitars. And I've actually brought this out and was using it one of the auditions recently for the bass player, and brought it out and played it. And I like the sound of it, but yeah, it definitely has a different sound than my other guitars, and it's definitely a little bit different. And just it doesn't have 24 frets. Even though I don't go up that high very often, I like the access. But otherwise, it's a great guitar, although I've been trying to sell it and nobody's buying, so I guess I'll just keep it. And then there's this guy here. So this has been the Schecter Sun Valley Super Shredder that I was kind of disappointed in. I had a lot of hopes for this guitar, especially since I wanted something a little bit more 80s inspired. But it's still got issues with the electronics that I still got to fix. I did try playing it the other day. It's fine as long as I don't go to the neck pickup. Neck pickup completely cuts out. The volume on the bridge pickup kind of goes in and out. Unless I keep it on full, then it's fine for a little while. So I've actually tried practicing a bit with this. And I do like this guitar. But yeah, the whole electronics issue, especially when it's so new, kind of, disappointing to me. But you know what? I'm going to try to give it a chance. I'm going to try to fix it myself, possibly today or tomorrow. Maybe bring out to rehearse with with the band soon. And the cats are playing around the drum kit right now. They just don't want to leave it alone. Sorry, Carlos. And all right, and then the last thing in the last while is I finally got around to rewiring this guitar. Now, of course, like my black one, this is the identical guitar to it. USA, this thing's quite valuable. I really wanted to rewire it. I actually wanted to put it back to stock. and put in back in the Seymour Duncan JB and Jazz combo, but wire it the way Randy had his originals, and that was 2 volume and 1 tone. I don't know why stock Jackson's been putting 1 volume and 2 tones. It doesn't really make sense to me. So I've kind of put in brand new pots and whatnot, fixed it up. And then I wasn't getting the tone I wanted. It was just too, I almost say muddy in the low end. And it just didn't have that attack that I wanted. And it wasn't like my USA Kelly had the same pickups and same configuration, but it was interesting because I was like, I can't get that right sound out of it. It's like, what do I do? Like, do I just go back to putting in the Seymour Duncan Blackouts? I actually do want to put Fishman Influence Moderns in this guitar. But actually, it was a comment on one of my older videos that somebody had just recently made a new comment on that really had me thinking about changing something else in this. And it was actually a comment that came from Leo M-ZT3PL. And he wrote, I bought a 2008 RR1T, which is basically the same as this without the Floyd Rose, USA with the stock JB Jazz pickups. The reason the JB sounds so weak is Jackson specs them with 250K tone pots. With the tone pot disconnected, it really wakes up. I was like, you know what, maybe that's what I'll do, because it is interesting because I grabbed the old tone pot, which is a 250K. The volumes are 500K. So I thought, well, I could put a 500K tone. Maybe that'll make a difference. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to bypass it. So I quickly got the soldering iron out. I bypassed the tone altogether. That is true. As soon as you do that, the guitar really does come to life. So I don't know if maybe I'm going to put a 500K pot in it or leave it like this way, but I actually was putting this back to stock because I was thinking about selling this, because I really got my eye on getting a PRS custom 24 Floyd core model, and basically the same value as one of these. So either getting it somewhere in a trade or just selling this, getting a lot of value for this and just buying a new core. But I don't know. Sometimes I want to keep it in a way. You know, I've got the black one, which I know some people refer to that as Darth Vader, and this is sort of like the Stormtrooper one. But I don't know. Like, this guitar is pretty wild looking, and it does scream 80s. So I was thinking, you know, maybe I'd just keep it for the cover band, because when I was playing with the cover band the other day, though, it kept cutting out on me, especially the bridge pickups. I was having some wiring issues. So I had learned at that practice that whenever I have a guitar that I've been tinkering with, I need to bring a backup guitar that I know works fine. So that was the kind of the funny thing in the last little while is rehearsing, is that, you know, you make sure if you're doing your wiring, your soldering, make sure everything's good and clean before you start rehearsing with it. So otherwise, that's going to be it for today. That's just a quick little recap video. Don't cough up a fur ball in here. What are you doing? Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. Me and the cats are going to go do some stuff here. I'll let them play a little bit more. And anyway, so in the meantime, here's a little video on the outro. Take care. Shred on.